Hello there, welcome back to Weather or Not. I'm your host, Kyle Eck, joined by my forecaster, Caroline Castora. Now, I heard we've been of a topsy-turvy pattern flip. Do you care to explain on that?
Yeah, the pattern is certainly flipping, so if you got used to the warmer weather that we're experiencing, I am the bearer of bad news. It's going to be rainy as we move into this weekend, and then it's going to get pretty chilly next week.
Now, I've heard your nature in the news stories that are coming up, and unfortunately, it sounds like more bad news is coming. What are they?
Yeah, so Hurricane Nicole is making landfall on Florida's coast as we move through this week. And then better news is the total lunar eclipse that we experienced on Tuesday. I have some cool pictures with my story for that. What about you?
So I'm going to be talking about our recent first snowfall of the season that happened the other week. I'm going to be comparing that to recent averages over the past 30 years. And then I'm going to be talking about how daylight saving time is going to be impacting seasonal depression for some of our closest friends and family.
Those are very interesting. I'm excited to hear about them.
Yep. And with that, let's get ourselves into nature in the news. This past weekend, daylight saving time ended and clocks turned back 1 hour. As always, there are mixed reviews on this topic. People get an extra hour of sleep, but it comes at a cost. Sunset is now before 5 in the evening. This marks the time of year when people can experience what's known as seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. It stems from the changing of seasons and the onset of shorter days and lasts through the winter. Common symptoms include feelings of sadness, worthlessness, anxiety, and extreme cases, thoughts of death. Luckily, this can be treated by taking vitamin D supplements, light and behavioral therapy, and antidepressant medication. Be sure to take it easy as we head into the shortest days of the year. On the bright side, there's only 4 months until we see daylight saving time again, when the days notably get longer.
Early Tuesday morning, a total lunar eclipse moved through the night sky. What made this one special is it also was a blood moon, meaning the moon turned a deep red once the eclipse passed by. The west coast was forecasted to have the best view, but rainy conditions obstructed it in some places. It started at around midnight, but totality didn't begin until 2:16 a.m. Pacific time. Totality lasted for about 90 minutes until 3:41 a.m. The eclipse ended around 5:56 a.m. Falling on Election Day, people have been joking voters might be tired from staying up watching the eclipse. The eastern seaboard had clearer viewing conditions, providing eye-catching sights for those who stayed up for it. When it comes to lunar eclipses, it's not as sensitive to location as solar eclipses. What makes this eclipse a blood moon is due to the same phenomenon as what makes the sky blue. The moon set before the eclipse finished in North America, so hopefully you got a view while it lasted. This was the last total lunar eclipse until March 14, 2025, although partial eclipses will still occur until then.
Mother Nature always has a way of keeping us looking forward to the next season. On October 19th, State College saw their first snowflakes of the 2022-23 winter season for all of a few short minutes. For snow lovers, this was good reason to rejoice, and for those who despise snow, well, this was a firm reminder that winter is well on its way to making its presence known throughout the Keystone State. The mid-October snow tease may bring up a burning question. Was this an early snowfall? According to the National Weather Service, State College typically doesn't see the first snow of the season until mid to late November, so to see the flakes start flying well before Halloween could be a shock to the system for some. However, this year didn't feature the earliest snow for State College in the past 30 years. It was 2009 when the snowflakes first fell on October 16th. The first snow of the season isn't a good indicator of how much snow will fall over the course of the entire season. For instance, the 1995-96 winter season saw its first snow within a week of the current average, but ended up seeing 99 inches of snow for the entire season, whereas the current average seasonal snowfall is slightly above 3.5 feet. While we can't put a number on how much snow we'll get this winter season in State College based on our first snowfall, we can certainly look forward to more snowflakes as we head into the coldest time of year.
Tropical Storm Nicole formed in the southwestern Atlantic on Monday. Packing 60-mile-an-hour winds, Nicole was categorized as a subtropical storm when it formed, but has since continued to strengthen. Meteorologists at the National Hurricane Center expect Nicole to be a Category 1 hurricane by landfall Thursday. They also advise that the track of the storm is tricky due to the size of Nicole. After continuous confusion with the hurricane cones of uncertainty from the public, the NHC is emphasizing the importance of paying attention if you're situated anywhere on the coast. Nicole is a large storm, and effects can span outside the forecast cone, especially winds and storm surge. The emergency management officials in the Bahamas have already urged people to leave their homes and opened emergency shelters on the islands. Hurricane and tropical storms watches and warnings were issued along the coast of Florida, including Gulf side. The storm is expected to weaken and track up through the states like Georgia, South and North Carolina, Virginia, and even edges of Tennessee and Kentucky. Pennsylvania will get remnants moving into the weekend in the form of heavy rain. Chilly conditions are on the way, but first we got to get through a rainy day, and that rainy day is Friday. And this is due to remnants from Hurricane Nicole. They're going to be pushing up from the south, and it's going to be steered by that cold front out towards our west. That's going to make it move northward, and then it's going to push it off towards the coast by the time we move to Saturday. It is going to be a soaker on Friday. We're expected 2 to 4 inches of rain Friday during the day and continuing into the evening, and it could be heavy at times, so be sure to pack an umbrella and rain boots because it is, again, going to be a very wet day. That is that front pushed off towards the coast. It's going to be chilly once that clears our area. I think it's going to move out of our area by the time game day comes around, but the tailgate fields will certainly be muddy and the seats might be wet in the stadium. But it's going to be chilly regardless. We're going to struggle to reach 50 degrees, and then on Sunday it's going to be even colder than it was on Saturday. Struggling to make it out of the 40s, partly cloudy skies, and just plain cold. So here's your weekend forecast. Heavy rain, like I said, on Friday. We're going to top out at 62 degrees, which is above average temperature-wise, but it's going to be a dreary day because of how wet it's going to be outside. And that continues Friday night. It's going to bottom out at 46 degrees, and the rain sticks around, just increasing those totals as we move through the weekend. But luckily, by Saturday, I think it should clear out by the morning. I have AM showers because I don't want to rule that out as we move through the morning, but by game day, like I said, it should clear out, and we'll top out at 53 degrees, struggling to make it past that as we move through the day. Saturday night, we're approaching freezing, 32 degrees, and partly cloudy skies before the chilly day of the weekend, 41 degrees, and just plain cold on Sunday. Now, your game day forecast against Maryland, I have a temperature of 47 by the time kickoff rolls around, and we're going to be clearing up from that rain like I mentioned, but be sure to pack layers and pack maybe some towels to dry off after the game because, again, it is going to be wet from the rain on Friday. Stay tuned. Connor Freidhoff has a feature on sustainable construction coming up next.
In 2019, Penn State conducted a survey of its student body in regards to climate change. 74% of students agreed that the university should do more to address climate change. The university itself has stated that energy use is its largest contributor to its greenhouse gas emissions. Multiple large-scale projects have taken shape around the Penn State campus, geared at environmentally conscious construction. Orange warning placards and blue fences have become part of the campus aesthetic as the West 1 and West 2 projects press on into the fall and winter seasons.
What you're seeing behind me is the extensive construction behind the West Campus project, mainly West 2 and West 1. West 2 is expected to be completed in 2022 and will contain over 100,000 square feet of new laboratories and classrooms designed for undergrad and graduate purposes. And West 1 will be completed in 2024. That will contain over 290,000 square feet of new classrooms, mainly for the College of Engineering. So by the time this is all done, this will be 400,000 square feet of new classrooms and new spaces for students and researchers alike.
The reason for the project's existence is creating learning and cooperative spaces for students and faculty within the College of Engineering. But the project brings an aura of excitement along with the promise of modern workspaces. A number of decisions and reviews are made along the way before any ground is broken.
Whenever we have a new piece of infrastructure brought to the table for facilities, we have to think about the need. Like, who is going to be, who's the project for? You know, what is the facility meant to be? We also start thinking about what is our budget. You know, how much money do we have? And then we start getting into as well too is who are all the stakeholders? You know, beyond the internal stakeholders that are going to be using the facility. Who do we need to keep in the loop to make sure we can actually build the project and accomplish that facility project.
Take a stroll around the University Park campus and you'll find an array of different construction styles and eras. A walk down Pollock Road begins with the brick facades of West Halls and ends with the unique and modern Millennium Science Complex. The evolution and growth of Penn State continues to this day, with each passing year bringing on distinct changes. Construction also evolved in this time. New structures were built with ADA and OSHA regulations in mind.
Accessibility and sustainability is hugely beneficial to Penn State. I mean, and they want to be a leader in that area. So, I think people don't, sometimes we have to think how to measure sustainability. So I think it's kind of a three-headed monster. So we have to think about being environmentally sustainable, which is one area. We also have to think about socially sustainable. Are people comfortable in that space, and does it allow them to do their job? And the third part of sustainability is the financial aspects, or the economic. Is it economically sustainable? Can we afford that technology, that part of equipment, and does it last a good amount of time?
As mentioned earlier, many within the student body want a more active approach to climate change threats. Amidst this, Penn State themselves have admitted that powering the campus makes up the largest proportion of its emissions. The next generation of Penn State's construction now faces a new challenge: managing these emissions.
Carbon offsetting is extremely important to us, with our new facilities. So when we look at a new building like West 2, we're using a lot more lumber construction as opposed to concrete or steel. So our facade is timber supported. Also, rather than metal decking, for our floors, we're using something called cross laminated timber, CLT. So it's actually another timber product. So that we offset carbon footprint by using timber as opposed to steel or concrete.
Every incoming class of first-year students will see a different Penn State than the last. Resources available will need to accommodate new regulations and ensure maximum comfort and efficiency for all who use the facilities at Penn State. So for the next time you see those blue fences and bright orange signs, know that every project is contributing to a more environmentally conscious college campus. For Weather or Not, I'm Connor Freidhoff.
Pattern switch is on the way. It's going to be rainy on Friday, and then it's going to be chilly next week. Let's take a look. So here's your weekend recap. Like I said, the rain on Friday is going to be remnants of Hurricane Nicole, and we could receive 2 to 4 inches Friday and Friday night, topping out at 62 degrees before temperatures start to drop. We should clear out by the time game day rolls around at 3:30, but we'll only top out at 53 degrees on Saturday. Before Sunday, we only top out at 41, so there's that chill that I was talking about, partly sunny skies, and then that low 26 degrees. But here's your extended forecast. Winter is coming. That green line is your average temperature for this time of year, and that's about 49 degrees. All of these temperatures are below average for next week. Tuesday night, I do believe there is a chance for some wintry precipitation, lake effect. It could be rain, it could be snow, so keep that in on your radar as you move into next week. But again, it's just going to be chilly, and I am not excited about how cold it is going to be as we move into next week.
I know, and to kind of piggyback on your statement for the outlook ahead, the Climate Prediction Center, for not just us here in Pennsylvania, but the entire Eastern Seaboard and the rest of the contiguous lower 48, is forecast to be below average. So it's going to be quite chilly as we head into the next week ahead in November. Yeah,
it is going to be a chilly one for most of the United States.
Yep, and with that, let's get into our Weather Whiz Quiz of the week. Your Weather Whiz Quiz question is: what day did State College, Pennsylvania see their first snowfall of the 2022 winter season? Is it A, October 9th? Is it B, October 19th? Is it C, October 29th? Or is it D, November 9th? If you answered B, October 19th, you would be correct.
It's crazy to me how early it was this year.
I know, we were about a month ahead of schedule, but again, as I mentioned earlier, it's not a precursor to how the rest of the season is going to play out.
For sure.
Yep. Well, thank you again for tuning in to Weather or Not. Please be sure to stay tuned next week. Have a good one.